okay?
I'm very well, thank you.
Was there any prominent religion within your household when you were growing up?
Yeah, the prominent religion was Christianity. My dad was Christian, my mum wasn't, but it was decided, I guess, at some point that me and my brother would go to Sunday school and go to church with my dad. Then around about the age of 12 we were given the choice of whether we stayed in the church or whether we decided that we wanted to leave, and both me and my brother decided after we were 12 that we didn't want to go anymore.
So is your faith now Christianity?
I'd say kind of broadly, yeah. Personally, because I don't practice it, I wouldn't consider myself a Christian, but I know that there's enough of my beliefs that have been influenced by Christianity that I guess I have a lot of Christian ethics in my values.
72% of the UK's population believe in Christianity and only 15% are atheist. You teach religious education at Grangefield High School. Would you say this is evident in the students you have taught, or would you say more children are atheist?
I'd certainly say more students are atheists than that number. And it's always interesting what people will say they are when it comes to a survey or a census and what they actually do week in, week out. But certainly the students in school, they very clearly would identify themselves as atheists in the main. So it's quite unusual that you do see that. Apparently there's lots of religious people in the country, and yet that doesn't seem to be reflected in the classroom.
Yeah, do you think that religious education should still be compulsory subject for children to learn in their GCSEs?
I definitely think it should be a compulsory subject up until 16 and when they do their GCSEs. I don't think it can be underplayed how important it is in the development of a young person to think about the kinds of questions that we talk about within RE. I think often people misunderstand the subject as being, what do religious people do, say and think, but it's really not that. For me it's about young people being able to develop their values and their beliefs, and every single person has values and beliefs that need to be developed. The way I always kind of try to explain it to students is, if we were to allow you to leave school with the ability to do maths and reading and writing, but you didn't have the ability to understand how somebody else felt, or to be able to clearly explain the way that you something that you believe, then you'd be missing a really vital part of your education. So for me it's one of the most important subjects, and therefore it should be compulsory.
Do you think that parents should influence a child's religion, or should they be free to choose their own faith?
I think it's an interesting one. I remember once, I think it was my RE teacher who said, some people assume that by saying to a kid, right, we're not going to raise you in a religious way, and that way we're not going to influence you at all. Well, actually you are. No matter what you do as a parent, you're always going to influence the belief of your children, and you should. A parent has to make a decision about how they're going to raise a child. So I think it's absolutely right that a parent, if they have a religious belief, should want to bring their children up in that belief. But what they should also be prepared for is for that child to then decide at a reasonable age that that's not the religion for them. And I think all religion should be able to stand up to criticism, and all religion should be able to stand up to inquiry, and young people are inquirers, and if they inquire into their religion and then decide it's not for them, then that should be respected by the parents. But I certainly think the parents have the right to raise their children into a religious faith.
Alright, thank you for coming.
You're more than welcome.